fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration, Tuesday edition. Hey, look, I got a sinus infection that's kicking the shit out of me. All right, so I may sound a little different. I can't hear out of my right ear, so I don't know how I sound right now. So hang in there with me. I've got a few things I've got to cover today, and then, but yeah, sinus infection is whipping my ass. But I finally got on some antibiotics, so that should be taken care of shortly. But went on vacation, had a fantastic time. Took the kids. We went down to Universal Studios and Disney World. I have walked my ass off. I have no ass. My ass has been walked off. So I couldn't even tell management to kiss my ass because I have no ass for them to kiss. I walked more than last week than I have the last 2 years on my route. There's so much walking, and it's nonstop walking. It's walking from when you wake up to when you go back to bed. You're walking, and so I have literally walked all my ass off. And so yeah, I can't tell management to kiss my ass because I don't have an ass for them to kiss. But anyway, we had a great time. And started coming down with this sinus infection about midway through the week. Immediately got home, went to a minute clinic, and they gave me some kind of nasal spray that didn't do shit. And went up to New York. Now, we went to Long Island, New York. We had a function up there. It was James Henry, myself, John Cruz, and Orlando Gonzalez, who's going to be the next business agent of that region up there. We went up there and had a fantastic event. It was a CLC event. Those people did a fantastic job. Charlie Caputo and those up there did a fantastic job, man. You're talking about a humbling experience. That's it. When you go in, you see the love, the passion, the excitement for change. And yeah, so I can't say enough good things about that. That was a fantastic, fantastic event. Now tonight we're going to be in South Carolina, James and I. We're going to be at branch 3902, Charleston, South Carolina. All right, that's tonight. So I'm going to be finishing this podcast, this episode, getting ready, going to the airport, and going up to Charleston, South Carolina, branch 3902. So make sure y'all come out and see us. I know it's the day of. Y'all probably already got your assignments and stuff, but if you can make it, come see us. And it's at 7 p.m., and so that's tonight. And then we will also be in Florida Thursday. That'll be branch 53 in Jacksonville, Florida. We'll be there Thursday, and that starts at 7:30 p.m. All right? So tonight we'll be in South Carolina. Thursday we'll be in Jacksonville, Florida, branch 53 at a meet and greet. And then Sunday we'll be back in my hometown, Tennessee. And that's going to be a fundraiser for a brighter tomorrow. I like that. It's Cookeville Community Center, Cookeville, Tennessee, Sunday, June 14th. Cookeville Community Center, 240 Carlin Drive, Cookeville, Tennessee, 1 to 4 p.m., Sunday, June 14th. Make sure y'all can come out there and wherever you're at. I know that there's several big cities around that. Come out and see us. All right? It's going to be several members from the CLC are going to be there. James Henry, myself, Rob Cozier, Dana Chambliss, who's going to be the next business agent of Region 8. Tom Rooney, he'll be there. Showing support, he'll be the next business agent of Region 14. And David Grosskopf, he's coming in. And so y'all make sure y'all come and see us, talk to us, ask us questions. There's going to be food, drinks, music, door prizes. So that's going to be June 14th. Make sure y'all come and see us, all right? And hopefully I'll be over this mess by that time. Got a few things I'm going to cover today that I've been sitting on for a while, and I need to get these things done. But I saw the other day when you talk about the city letter carriers have stood up to protect the city letter carriers, and that's what this movement is all about, is the city letter carriers finally standing up and saying, hey, if my agent's not going to do it, we'll do it ourselves. And that's what's happening in real time. We've never seen anything like this before in our history. So it's pretty fucking awesome to see the city letter carriers standing up, educating the city letter carriers like never before. I saw something the other day where there's something like 30 podcasts now that are out there trying to educate, and each one of them has their importance, you know. It's somebody taking their time to do what they can to educate Light Blue in whatever capacity that is. But I thought that was pretty damn awesome. I think there needs to be 100 podcasts educating, because everybody has their own different thing, right? Everybody has their own different thing. But you're not just educating Light Blue. Other people are listening. I got this the other day, and I thought this was pretty damn cool. Well, I got it yesterday. And it makes you understand how important education is. He says, hello, Corey. I'm an advocate for Transport Workers Union Local 555 and recently presented an arbitration regarding a violation of a fairly strict last chance agreement. I listened to your episode on last chance agreements and found it very helpful when preparing and fine-tuning my arguments. We will win. And I love that out of an advocate. We'll find out soon enough after briefs are submitted. I listened to a few other episodes, and it seems like our CBAs and processes are very similar. I just wanted to say thank you for airing your experiences and ideas, thoughts on situations, especially tough cases. Please keep it up and keep fighting the good fight. And I thought that was pretty fucking awesome, that the Transport Workers Union, they're listening. And other unions listen. I get things from other unions as well, but it's all about educating labor, the workforce, right? That's what this protection is all about. When you talk about the protections of the union, we're all in this together. All unions are in this together. I want every union to have contracts that make their carriers or their members rich. That's what I want, because we're the ones ultimately doing all the work. But I thought that was pretty damn cool to have that sent to me. And so, yeah, keep up the good work. Those that have decided to take their time and do podcasts or whatever you're doing to educate, you're not just educating Light Blue. Understand that others are out there listening as well. And we're going to do what we can to help everybody, right? So, let's get to what we're going to talk about. I'm also going to have a Lion's Den episode. I'll probably put that up tomorrow. And then I'll have the individuals running for NBA for the CLC. They did kind of a round table. I'll put that up as well. I'm going to have Paul Bolanger come on, and he's going to talk to you about some things that happened at their state convention, and their full-ass business agent getting up there making an ass out of himself, talking about James Henry. And so Paul got in that ass, but he's going to come on here and talk about that. And so, yeah, we've got a busy week. But let's get to this stuff here, because I got to get ready to fly out. But I wanted to address a few things. Had some people reach out talking to me about their poom. Their poom came out onto the workroom floor and basically starts berating them. Now, this is out of Region 12, and they said they've begged their business agent to get involved, and he won't do it, which is not surprising out of that region. But says that the poom comes out there, and he just starts berating them, talking about how sorry they are, how low down they are, threatening them with jail time and fines if they can't get all their mail delivered in 8. Now, this shit is real. I had about 6 people on a call that called me, each one of them telling me that this happened. Now, if I took that to arbitration, I would win that. But he starts telling them, threatening them with jail time if they can't get all their mail delivered in 8. Now, that's how fucking stupid this poom is. That you're going to come out on the workroom floor and you're going to berate the only ones doing the fucking work. We're the only motherfuckers working. And he probably had some fat-ass lazy supervisor behind him eating a bag of fucking Funyuns, probably laughing his fat ass off at this poom coming out there trying to help him because he's too fucking fat and stupid to do his damn job. So you got this fool-ass poom come out there on the workroom floor threatening carriers with jail time if they don't get their fucking routes done in 8 hours. That's how far we've fallen. And the business agent just got his thumb up his ass. He also told him that stationary vents, heat brakes are included in that. So there's no reason for extra heat brakes. And if you take a heat brake, that's a stationary vent, and that'll be used against you. He said, if you got time to cut your grass at home without taking a break, you can do this job without taking a break. That's what he said. Y'all get off and go home and cut your grass without taking a break in the heat. You can do this job right here without taking a break in the heat. If you take a break in the heat, that's going to be considered a stationary vent. I said, y'all are grieving that motherfucker, right? And I said, yeah, we're going to grieve it, but we've already asked our business agent to get involved and asked him what the grievance would be, and he said he had no idea. God bless America. Those are the type of individuals I'm going to send these teams in on. That motherfucker would have a team the next day. If anybody ever reaches out to me when I'm executive vice president and say, hey, we had a poom come in there and threaten us with jail time, I'm going to say, give me an address. We're not tolerating that shit ever. We had a poom come in and told us that heat brakes are stationary. What's the address? I have a team flown in there fucking tomorrow. These motherfuckers think they're going to come out there and kill my people. You think you're going to kill my fucking people? That's what that's going to do. Because you're going to have somebody listen to that. And they're going to be too fucking scared for their job, i.e. Brother Gates, that they're going to go out there and skip these fucking heat brakes because they don't want to get in trouble for a fucking stationary event. Management has no problem killing my brothers and sisters. That's how fucking sorry these motherfuckers are. That you're going to have a poom now. This ain't just some fucking low-level stupid-ass supervisor. This is a fucking poom. Come out there on the fucking floor and tell my people that, hey, if you take a heat break, that's going to be considered a stationary event. We don't take extra breaks in the heat. That's a poom. Somebody that should know better. Threaten me with jail time. Motherfucker, I wish you would. That's one of the times that I'm going to be on one of the teams we go in. I want to be there myself on that. And look that dumb motherfucker in the face and say it right here in front of me and God and everybody. Chicken shit. But, that's where we are because we got business agents that too fucking stupid and cowardly and drunk to do their fucking job. Sorry asses. Anyway, I got some things I'm going to go over. That pissed me off. That pisses me off. Here we are getting ready for the hottest time of the year. We've hit summer. It's June. Instead of a poom coming out there and saying, hey, look, it's fixing to get hot out there. Make sure you're taking breaks as needed. Making sure you get your water. Make sure you got your coolers. Make sure you get your ice, your towels. Do everything you can to protect yourself because as a poom, you're under me. I'm supposed to overlook you. I got the supervisors under me. I'm going to make sure that they're pressing y'all to make sure y'all doing what you need to do in the heat. Instead of doing that, he comes out there and tells them, you take a heat break, that's a stationary event. It's going to be used against you. We don't get extra breaks in the heat. So much for fucking hip training. Now, I'm going to do another safety episode probably next week. And I'm going to put everything out there just like I did last year. And I'll do it next year and the next year and the next year and the next year. We're going to do another safety one, all right? I'm going to cover a little bit of that today because of something somebody sent me. But anyway, here's one that somebody reached out to me and said, hey, the supervisor is only approving 1 minute of overtime per parcel over base. I'll read that again. The supervisor is only approving 1 minute of overtime per parcel over base. And that's all they're figuring in on deciding overtime. Not route length, not volume, not coverage. Fucking morons. I agree with you. The supervisor is only approving 1 minute of overtime per parcel over base. Now here's the grievance. Now there's another thing that somebody sent me, and it'll go hand in hand with this, okay? They sent me this and it was on their scanner. And it says, based on the last $39.99 done and where you are on the route, you should have all mail delivered and be back at the station by 7 p.m. So they're basing today's times off of the last $39.99, trying to set a demonstrated performance, okay? Kind of similar, the grievances will be kind of similar with them saying this about the parcels, except we'll have some different language for the parcel delivery, okay? I'm going to go over both things, but they're going to kind of be together. So you have this person saying, hey, they're approving 1 minute of overtime. They sent me the $39.96. It says total base parcels 52, and your overtime is this, and it's giving you 1 minute per parcel. All right, kind of like 1983, where they try to give us a standard for parcels, even though they said it was a parameter. We have no street standard on the $39.99 issue and on the parcel issue. We have no street standard. Every day is different. Remember that. When you're dealing with parcel delivery, you'll always go to section 322.3 of the M41 handbook. That's going to cover parcel delivery. Okay? But we'll also put in these things I'm going to talk about. Section 322.3 of the M41 handbook, and it states in relevant part, for any parcel that does not fit into the customer's mailbox or parcel locker when available, an attempt to deliver must be made at the customer's door. If no one is available to receive the parcel, follow the procedures of 322.311. I'll read that again. For any parcel that does not fit into the customer's mailbox or parcel locker when available, an attempt to deliver must be made at the customer's door. You also have section 631 of the M41 handbook. Section 631 of the M41 handbook reads in relevant part. 631.2. While waiting for customer to respond, scan the parcel to verify whether. So you're waiting at the door, right? So when I get my parcel that won't fit into the box, I will do the proper dismount procedure. I will walk that up the driveway if there's no turnaround. I will walk that up the driveway. I will knock on the door and I will wait. Now, that takes what it takes. It takes what it takes. We have no street standard. So, if they're denying overtime or granting overtime based off of 1 minute per parcel, you're going to use this language. But you're also going to use these things. And there's step fours, I go over them all the time. You got M1444. M1444. We're going to use this. This is talks about DOAS. Daily piece counts recorded in accordance with the above referenced systems. Post or DOAS will not constitute the sole basis for discipline. However, daily counts recorded in accordance with these procedures may be used by the parties in conjunction with other management records and procedures to support or refute any performance-related discipline. This does not change the principle that pursuant to section 242.332 of the M39, no carrier shall be disciplined for failure to meet standards except in cases of unsatisfactory effort, which must be based on documented unacceptable conduct that led to the carrier's failure to meet office standards. This will also go with the one where the scanner message is saying, hey, based on your last $39.99. Okay? This will also go with that. So these are hand in hand. You got the parcel delivery language that I gave you, but these things will go hand in hand with the $39.99 issue as well. Furthermore, the pre-arbitration settlement there, dated 1985, provides that there is no set pace at which a carrier must walk and no street standard for walking. This is also for mounted routes. Somebody asked me that the other day. Hey, you're always talking about for walking. What about mounted? They're hand in hand. This just means we have no street standard, okay? These are both the same. Walking, mounted, both covered under 1444, all right? There's no set pace at which a carrier must walk and no street standard for walking. So if I have no street standard, I can now have no time to deliver a package. No such thing. That's the reason those times on the memos piss me off so much. This will also help you with the parcel delivery, okay? M1664. The Delivery Operations Information System, DOIS, now that's where these parcel numbers are input, is in DOIS, is a management tool for estimating a carrier's daily workload. The use of DOIS does not change the letter carrier's reporting requirements outlined in Section 131.4 of the Handbook M41. The supervisor's scheduling responsibilities outlined in Section 122 of Handbook M39, or the letter carrier's and supervisor's responsibilities contained in Section 28 of Handbook M41. DOIS projections are not the sole determinant of a carrier's leaving or return time or daily workload. As such, the projections cannot be used as the sole basis for corrective action. So when you have somebody writing down that you get 1 minute per parcel, you need to ask them where they got that number from. They're going to put these parcel volumes into DOIS, and DOIS is going to give them a projection. Okay? Now, the 1 minute, I'm going to put in an information request, and I'm going to ask where management got that from. Where is management receiving this 1 minute per parcel delivery? What information is it? What data are they getting? Is it DOIS? Is it PET? Whatever. But let's get that in hand. This one also going to go for both the parcel delivery and for the $39.99 issue. M1769 talks about the subject office efficiency tool is a management tool for estimating a carrier's daily workload. The office efficiency tool in the Greater Indiana District or any similar time projection system tools will not be used as the sole determinant for establishing office or street time projections. According, these resulting projections will not constitute the sole basis for corrective action. This agreement does not change the principle that pursuant to Section 242.332 of Handbook M39, no carrier shall be disciplined for failure to meet standards except in cases of unsatisfactory effort, which must be based on documented, unacceptable conduct that led to the carrier's failure to meet office standards. Furthermore, as stated in this agreement, there's no set pace at which a carrier must walk and no street standard for walking. And that will go for both the $39.99 issue that I read, right? And also parcel delivery. Here's another one that I could use on both issues, especially the $39.99 issue where they have a scanner message saying, hey, based on your last $39.99, you should be off the clock by this time. This is M385. The information presented in this case establishes that the grievant was approached by a supervisor and told that she was not making standard. She was not being disciplined at this point, but rather was being advised as to what the supervisor felt he observed. Such action in and of itself does not constitute a violation of the terms and conditions of the national agreement. Therefore, the grievance is denied. It is acknowledged that the proper stipulated manner for determining the efficiency of an employee and whether or not the employee is in fact meeting standards is to conduct a one-day count as provided in Handbook M39 and M41. Under the circumstances presented in this case, it is not shown that such a formal approach was necessary or that management was seriously questioning the efficiency of the grievance. So I'll put that one in there as well. M304. M304, I would also use this one in both cases. The parcel one with the 3996 and the 3999 scanner message. M304. Each of these cases involve a disciplinary action as a result of route management. In keeping with the principle of a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, it is understood that there is no set pay to which a carrier must walk and no street standard for walking. Therefore, these cases are being remanded to the regional level. So there's another one. Here's one that would go with the 3999 scanner issue. M0005. M0005. Matter presented as well as applicable contractual provisions have been reviewed and given careful consideration. The grievance mail was not counted to determine their efficiency in this instance. Data from the counts are not, nor will they be used as a basis for disciplinary action. Consequently, the grievance case is considered to be closed. So, if you're going to try to gauge my efficiency, it's not based off of the last $39.99. You got to give me a count. You got to ride with me, all right? M829. 829. And this goes with the $39.99. Okay? And this would be in violation of Article 19 via M829. Okay? The question raised in this grievance is whether management may discipline a letter carrier for expansion of street time and or authorized overtime using data obtained by management during a one-day inspection of the carrier's route. After further review of this matter, we mutually agreed that no national interpretive issue is fairly presented in the particular evidence in this case. Under Article 16, no employee may be disciplined except for just cause. In this instance, the parties agree that a one-day count and inspection may not be used as the sole basis to establish a standard against which a carrier's performance may be measured for disciplinary purposes. Whether or not discipline is properly issued, just cause exists under given circumstances is a factual dispute suitable for regional determination. So they're trying to set a street standard based off of a $39.99. Okay? That's a violation of M829. I have no street standard. You saw those that I read talking about no set pace at which I must walk. I have no street standard. You cannot perform a one-day count and use that as a street standard, which is exactly what happens when you get a scanner message saying just that. When your scanner message is saying, based on the last $39.99 done and where you are on the route, you should have all mail delivered and be back at the station by 7 p.m. They're trying to set a standard, a street standard based off of a one-day count. All right, so I'm going to grieve that. And I'm going to use those things that I just talked about. I have no street standard, and you can't use a one-day count to set a standard for me. Okay? I apologize if I sound terrible, but I'm heavily medicated, and I can't hear myself out of my right ear. And that sucks. Here's another thing. Hey, Corey, hope all is well today. Management told me that they were doing a random water check and asked to see if the water I had for the day. I told her I don't worry, I have enough. She said no, she needs to see it so she can take pictures. I refused and told her she'll not be taking pictures of my stuff, and she gave me an attitude but walked away. First off, we've covered this taking pictures shit over and over and over again. I'm grieving that. We're not zoo animals. You're not going to come in and take pictures about every fucking thing. It looks like they're taking pictures of us for every damn thing we do now. Going out on my route, taking pictures of me walking across the floor, taking pictures of me on my case, now taking pictures of me with water. You're not going to take pictures of me. Grieve that, okay? As far as the water, management is required to provide potable water. There's nothing stating that we must provide water before we get to work, that we must have all available water. There's nothing in that. Now, you're going to see this shit coming up on the summer. And they're going to start doing this because they hate us with everything in them. Just like this fool-ass input. Now you got this person. Let me see your water. Let's take pictures of it. The other day I read to you something out of the Area and Regional Update, Southern Edition. Area and Regional Update, and this was all season safety, and this was from the Southern Area Retail and Delivery Operations Vice President. It was on page 4. It says, here in the southern area, rising temperatures come early, which makes our focus on heat illness and injury prevention even more important. Our heat illness prevention program training is vital. And that's what she says. Our heat illness prevention program training is vital. Now, this is the same training that they falsify every year, but it's vital. Our heat illness prevention program training is vital, as is adherence to all tips provided, such as proper hydration, pacing ourselves throughout the day, and recognizing the signs of heat stress in ourselves and others. Safety has no season. It is year-round. And we need all employees to maintain a safe working environment because the most important delivery is making it home safe every day. That's great. Every employee. It is year-round, and we need all employees to maintain a safe working environment. When you have a POOM stand up and tell you that you have no extra breaks in the heat, that they're going to be considered safety violations or stationary violations, I'd say that they weren't maintaining a safe working environment. When you have a manager come out and say, hey, look, where's your water? We're taking pictures of it, implying that I must bring the water for the day from home. She says our heat illness prevention program training is vital. So let's go to heat illness prevention training or program. Heat illness prevention program. Now, if you look up heat illness prevention program NALC, it'll pull this up for you, okay? Heat illness prevention program. Page 6 of the heat illness prevention program. Page 6 of that. The Postal Service will implement procedures to ensure that. Now, this is the heat illness prevention program, the training that she just talked about. Engineering and administrative controls. The Postal Service will implement procedures to ensure that, number 1, potable water sources are available in all facilities and are monitored during regular safety inspections. That's the first bullet point. Engineering and administrative controls. The Postal Service will implement procedures to ensure that potable water sources are available in all facilities and are monitored during regular safety inspections. So if they're telling me that I've got to bring the water for the day, I'm going to grieve that. I'm grieving that, all right? You also have M1860, and I went over this a long time ago. M1860, and this is out of Independence, Missouri. M1860, and it says in part, you got 4 adequate amounts of water. Third paragraph, on days during periods of the year when the occurrence of excessive heat days could reasonably be expected, each city carrier at the carrier's option can either fill the appropriate water container with cool water at home prior to reporting for duty or after beginning his or her tour and prior to departing to the street. Now, this is M1860 out of Independence, Missouri. I'll read that again. On days during periods of the year when the occurrence of excessive heat days could reasonably be expected, each city carrier, at the carrier's option, not at the dumbass manager's option, at the carrier's option, can either fill the appropriate water container with cool water at home prior to reporting for duty or after beginning his or her tour and prior to departing to the street. And management must provide potable water, which means drinking water. And that's with the heat illness prevention program. Okay? So there's that. Well, this message came up on Ask a Stewart the other day on Facebook. It says, quick question, another great management theory. Can management give you a base street time from a 1 day $39.99? And I addressed that with 829, okay? No, they can't, but they're going to try to. They're going to try to. They're going to try everything humanly possible coming up. You're going to see the amount of falsification and lying by management coming up is going to be biblical. The amount of falsification. Somebody messaged me the other day, and they said that they're bringing all the CCAs in at noon. When they bring them all in at noon, they're putting them on a time code that does not give them route credit. They're falsifying their clock rings. They're getting paid, but the routes are not getting the credit. And they're doing that to hide from upper management their daily projections. And I'll do an episode on that. But you're fixing to see the amount of bullying that you're fixing to see because they're quote unquote broke is going to be biblical. Just like this Impu coming out there telling them that he's going to threaten them with jail time if they don't get done in 8. You got him coming out saying, hey, you have a demonstrated performance based off of a $39.99. All these things that are fixing that. We're going to start taking pictures of everybody. The amount of bullying you're fixing to see right now is going to be biblical. Unfortunately, you got people in place with the union that are cowards. And like your president, and they're non-existent. Your MBAs, most of them are non-existent, okay? And so what we need now are street fighters in positions of authority with the union. We need street fighters, and we have none. They're more worried about a paycheck than they are fighting for the city letter care. Now, we're going to remedy that come this next election. But you're going to have a biblical amount of bullying and misinformation and lies and cheating and stealing coming up from management. That's going to happen. And we're going to have to address it. And we will. We'll keep addressing it every fucking week. Here's another one. This is another thing that I'm talking about. You're going to see shit ramped up. Hey, Corey, I'm a shop steward in California. I have a friend that lives in Memphis that works for the Postal Service. At his office, they recently implemented a new rule that carriers can't go to their case when they return to the office in the evening. He mentioned that it's called a red line. I worked for the Postal Service for 31 years and I've never heard of this shit. Do you know anything about this? Yes, I've done numerous episodes on the red line policy. Numerous episodes on the red line policy. I'll touch on that on my next episode, all right? But again, these are the things that you're going to start seeing. They're going to start... Everything that they can do, they're fixing to start doing it. Everything that they can do to fuck us over, they're fixing to do it. We're going to have to make sure we grieve every fucking thing. Problem is, the grievance procedure is broken. So we can grieve everything, but they know that it's going to be a minimum of a year, maybe 2, before that grievance is resolved. So they can make us do shit all that time because the grievance procedure has been hijacked and is broken. Somebody sent me this the other day. They said, hey, finally got my resolution to my grievance. We filed it. The incident date, 10/15/2024. 10/15/2024. And the resolution date, 2/3/26. Now, this is a DRT decision. This isn't arbitration. This is a DRT decision. Incident date 10/15/2024. Almost 2 fucking years. So, they can come out and implement a red line policy. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to have to do that shit until you get a remedy back. Now, what's that going to do to our route data if they come up with a joint process? What about management delivering our mail? And I'm going to talk about that in a second. What about management delivering our mail? Or hiding our mail? Or not having the mail go out for delivery? Any grievance that's filed on that? A year? 2? So all these things are input into our route data. So when you have a joint process, what are they going to look at? Your route data. And all of that is skewed. Why? Because we filed grievances on shit they're doing that's fucking up our routes. It is still sitting in a fucking black hole of grievances. That's why. You got some that are 3 years old coming back. Here's another one. Can somebody point me to the articles for management creating undertime in the morning? Undertime is being posted on a board in the morning. I covered that just a few weeks ago. No questions if we would possibly be under, just a blank statement that the carriers are under. That's Dois and Pet. That's still happening. This was the other day. Somebody put that up. I've covered that several times about undertime. Shit's fixing to get wild. It's fixing to get wild. And we need to have wild motherfuckers in positions of this union right now. Just fucking crazy ass, rabid ass dogs in positions of this union that know how to fire motherfuckers up, get this fucking grievance procedure cleaned up so that we can get our shit heard in a timely manner. I think all that's by design anyway. I can't get on. I gotta go get ready for a damn plane ride. This goes along. I talked about this yesterday when I had the episode with James and Cruz and Grosskopf and Cozier, but this is a scanner message. It's kind of what I'm talking about. Right here at the beginning of summer, they start sending these out. Okay, staff, I know it's hot, but y'all need to stop sitting in your vehicles between drags. Too many stationary events without delivery. Get your drink of water and keep moving. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. They don't care if we die. They don't give a fuck if we die. Right? Okay, staff, I know it's hot. Well, if you know it's hot, why the fuck you send me a message? You know it's hot. Your ass is in the air condition. What'd you do? Had to go walk to your car? Is that how you know it's fucking hot out? Because your lazy fucking ass had to go out to your car and get something? And you're going to send out a fucking message. Ooh, it's hot. They're sitting out there because we're watching these stationary events. Something else your union failed us on with that shit. Another one. Let's go, team. Don't slow down now. We're almost there. Almost where? Your ass ain't got out of the chair yet. What the fuck you mean we're almost there? Almost where? I'm out here fucking delivering. Your fucking ass is sitting in a chair in the air condition. Let's go, team. Don't slow down now. Slow down now? The fuck are you talking about? We work every fucking day. You don't have to worry about us slowing down, sitting somewhere. We're fucking working. And I'm going to make sure that my ass survives. So I'm going to take breaks as needed in this fucking heat. If I got to go somewhere and sit in a fucking air condition, I'm going to do that. Just like your fat ass is doing. Let's go, team. Don't slow down. We're almost there. Almost where, bitch? God. One last thing, and then I'll be gone. Shit, I could keep this on for 4 fucking hours. Somebody reached out the other day and was talking about management delivering our mail. And they're duping our shop stewards and branch presidents into thinking that there are certain situations where they can deliver our mail. They can't deliver our mail, period. They can't deliver our mail. One of the situations was going over 12 hours in a day or 60 hours in a week. And management saying that with the new Article 8 provisions, it's at their discretion if they let you work over 8 or over 12. You know where they took the caps off the 12 and 60. And they're saying, hey, we don't have to let you work over 12. You can volunteer, but it's our discretion if you work over 12. And we're not going to let you work over 12. And since it's our discretion, we're going to deliver the mail. Talking about management. We're not going to let you work over 12, so we're going to deliver the mail. And there are stewards buying that. There are branch presidents buying that they can do it. They cannot deliver our mail. That's our work. The reason they took the fucking caps off is so that we can work all damn day. So you're not going to say, well, it's our discretion and we're not going to let you do it, so we're going to deliver it. There's numerous individuals that have reached out to me talking to me about management trying to sell them on the fact that they can deliver the mail. They cannot deliver our fucking mail. They can't bring the mail to us on the route. They can't do our case labels. They can't do our fucking work. You had this situation the other day. I read it to you where the carrier said that, hey, they told all the carriers to be back off the clock by whatever time. And set the mail on the floor. You sat the mail on the floor, you clocked out, you went home, management delivered it all. That's a grievance. The bad thing is, it's going against our route because they're not going to put that data into our route. And I'm going to file a grievance, and it's going to take 2 fucking years to hear from the grievance. So they have completely fucked us over all the way around because you have a president right now that's complacent. He doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground as far as we're concerned. Smart boy. He does not understand us and the shit we go through every fucking day. These business agents that kiss his ass like Region 2, they don't understand who we are. Or you would never say that I support that president and I would vote for him again, and if he has a slate, I would be on it. That's foolishness to see that. But as far as management doing our work, they cannot. They cannot do our fucking work. Keep grieving. Keep grieving. I know that it's frustrating as hell that our union has failed us so much that we're getting resolutions back 2 and 3 years after we file. Keep fucking filing. Keep filing. We're going to address it when we get in there. Keep fucking filing. Do not let management win this because of our union leadership is complacent and cowardly and foolish and stupid. Keep fucking filing. We're going to stay in this fucking fight. Down here on the ground level. Light blue, we're going to stay in this fucking fight. Y'all fight with me. We're going to fucking do it, man. Keep filing on these motherfuckers for what they're doing to us. Every fucking thing. That M-Poo that came out there and said that dumbass shit, file on that motherfucker. These motherfuckers send out scanner messages, file on them motherfuckers. Coming up to us trying to take pictures, file on that shit. Talking about delivering our mail, file on that shit. File the fucking grievances on these motherfuckers and we'll handle business when we get in there. Alright. Section 16A. 16A of our JCAM. Alright. Performing of bargaining unit work. 16A. Supervisors are prohibited from performing bargaining unit work at post offices with 100 or more bargaining unit employees except, I'll read that again. Supervisors are prohibited. Okay? That means they can't do it. Supervisors are prohibited from performing bargaining unit work at post offices with 100 or more bargaining unit employees except in an emergency, for the purpose of training or instruction of employees, to assure the proper operation of equipment, to protect the safety of employees, or to protect the property of the USPS. The prohibition against supervisors performing bargaining unit work also applies to acting supervisors 204Bs. The PS Form 1723, which shows the times and dates of the 204B detail, is the controlling document for determining whether an employee is in a 204B status. A separate PS Form 1723 is used for each detail. So, that's where we're going to start. I've got a couple of arbitration sites for you. That's really all you need. But I've got some arbitration sites. I think you'll enjoy them. One is a national level arbitration site. It's from arbitrator Gamzer. And it's C689. C689, and this is Gamzer. Now it's the APW, but it was several unions involved. And I'm going to go to the last damn page. The last damn page, and this is what he says. For all the reasons set forth above, it is necessary to conclude that the parties meant to adopt the definition of post office which the USPS urged in the New York representation hearing, which is quoted from in part above. The practical application of this conclusion is to require that the agreement be implemented to restrict the performance of bargaining unit work by supervisory employees at post offices having more than 100 employees, except under the provisions of Section 6A 1 through 5, which I read to you. Even though such work is included in the position descriptions for such supervisors, if the USPS desires to have such supervisors perform bargaining unit work, it will have to achieve the liberalization of the present restrictive language through collective bargaining. They cannot do our work. And if they want to, then they know they need to do it through collective bargaining. If they want to do our work, then they need to fight for that right under collective bargaining, and that's what National Arbitrator Gamzer said. If the USPS desires to have such supervisors perform bargaining unit work, it will have to achieve the liberalization of the present restrictive language through collective bargaining. What he's saying, you cannot do carrier work. And if you want to, you got to accomplish it through collective bargaining. Here's one from Nancy Hutt. It's C22173. C22173. Discussion, page 6. In the national agreement is set forth in Article 1, Section 6, management is prohibited performing bargaining unit work except under the 5 conditions articulated in the section, which I read to you. Those conditions are an emergency, training, proper operation of equipment, safety, and the protection of property. The service contends that an emergency existed on the day in question which permitted the supervisor to deliver the 2 swings to the carriers on their respective routes. Now, a lot of people get on social media saying, hey, can management bring our mail to us? No, they can't. And here it is. The service contends that an emergency existed on the day in question which permitted the supervisor to deliver the 2 swings to the carriers on their respective routes. The arbitrator finds a technical violation, albeit still a violation, of Article 1.6 of the National Agreement for the reasons set forth below. The Postal Service failed to show the circumstances on February 17, 1999, presented an emergency situation. It is undisputed that the agreement was an inexperienced PTF who was given approximately 5 hours of mail to deliver at 13:48 p.m. on a route he had carried only a few times. Agreement requested assistance prior to his departure from the station. The fact that Agreement called to notify his supervisor of his estimated 7:30 p.m. late return was not unexpected or unanticipated. Certainly, it was necessary for Supervisor Single to travel to the route to assess the mail. According to Single, there were no carriers or light-duty employees available to deliver the 2 swings to the carriers. Supervisor Single made a decision to deliver the swings to the carriers who were in close proximity to the agreement. Although the actions of the service were not unreasonable, the delivery of mail was bargaining unit work that did not fall into one of the exceptions of Article 1.6. So here you had somebody say, hey, I was going out there to check on this carrier. While I was going out there, I just drove these 2 swings by the other carriers. She said, it doesn't matter. the delivery of mail was bargaining unit work. So there's a good one. Here's one from Sherry Rose Talmadge. 34097. 34097. As a result of a staffing shortage and numerous letter carriers working with medical restrictions at the Burlington, Vermont Post Office since October 2017, management and bargaining employees from other crafts and clerks and rural carriers have been performing city letter carrier work, delivering mail on an ongoing basis. And she talks about that. But then management started delivering it as well. She goes on page 12. Nonetheless, I find the union's argument persuasive that this was not an emergency situation as defined by Article 3F. The severe short staffing that has existed at the Burlington Post Office since October 2017 through at least July 8th of 2018 does not meet the criteria of Article 3F as being an unforeseen circumstance, which calls for immediate action in a situation that is not expected to be of recurring nature. Management had been aware since October 2017 that the severe short staffing was an ongoing and recurring issue. On an ongoing basis for over 9 months, management had been directing non-city carrier personnel and supervisors to perform carrier work delivering the mail. As a result of the previous grievance filed by the union concerning management's violation of the national agreement by utilizing management and non-city carrier bargaining unit employees performed carrier craft work for the period October 16th through February 9, 2018, management agreed to pay a lump sum settlement to the union. This was further evidence that management was on notice that the short staffing was a long-term ongoing issue rather than an unforeseen circumstance, calling for immediate action in a situation which was not expected to be of a recurring nature. The severe short staffing in the Burlington Post Office, which lasted in excess of 9 months and resulted in management utilizing management and non-city carrier bargaining unit employees to perform carrier craft work, does not meet the criteria of an emergency as defined in Article 3F of the National Agreement. Thus, I conclude that management violated Articles 1.6 and 7.2b and c of the National Agreement when it utilized non-carrier employees to cross crafts and management personnel to perform letter carrier bargaining unit work for the period from February 9th through July 8th. I've always loved that decision because one of the biggest things management says is we didn't have enough carriers to get the work done. We're completely understaffed. We didn't have enough personnel. We had to go out there and do it. That's a perfect one for that. She said, doesn't matter. It's bargaining unit work. And lastly, this is one of my favorites. I believe I've read this before. It's Arbitrator Williams. It's 10597. 10597. And I love this one because he completely gets in management's ass. And this is what he says, page 2. I'm of the opinion and so find the employer violated the terms of the National Agreement on May 26, 1990, when the supervisor performed bargaining unit work. I will briefly explain below the reasons for my forming this opinion. Listen how he gets in this guy's ass. At the outset, it is to be noted that management at the Camden office has not seen fit, using the SPO's term, to implement an overtime desired list. He gave no further explanation for failing to meet the requirements of the National Agreement regarding overtime assignments and the use of the ODL to select the letter carrier who would be given those assignments. The supervisor's explanation for believing that he had no choice but to step in and fill the void created by the unexpected resignation and departure of PTF carrier Eubanks seemed to come about as a result of his notion that PTF clerk Weatherly did not know the names of the streets in the residential part of town, and that she would be unable to deliver mail there because name signs did not appear at each street corner, which necessarily meant that she could not deliver mail outside the downtown business area and along Main Street. He also said the dispatch time of the offices was 16-15 hours, and that all work on the routes must be completed by then, which per him could not be accomplished without him going out onto the street himself, which he did. Another thing management will tell you, they're going to do it to avoid penalty. They're going to do it to make sure that they reach a dispatch of value or window of operation. You're going to see all kind of arguments coming up. This one deals with penalty and dispatch of value. That's the reason I love this case. The letter carriers are said to be scheduled to return from the street at 15:30 hours. The record shows that on heavy mail day, it is not unusual for one or more of them to return to the office at 1700 hours. The latter is a fact not disputed by the SPO. It can be said, therefore, that while it is desirable for an operations efficiency standpoint for carriers to return to the office in time for the raw mail to be processed for dispatching at 16:15 hours, the fact remains that that does not always occur. He's attacking the window of operation dispatch of value. Moreover, no claim was made by the SPO that delaying return of the raw mail was a result of the 1700 arrival at the office created an emergency situation which either was or is comparable to what allegedly happened here. It seems reasonable to conclude, therefore, that in times past the failure of a carrier to return to the office in time for his raw mail to be processed for dispatching was not considered to be anything more than a routine circumstance, albeit non-desirable, as distinguished from being an emergency one. And if that be the case, i.e. no emergency being created when raw mail is not dispatched, it should follow that the SPO's decision should not have been influenced by that fact, but he said it was so influenced. The question then becomes, did or could Miss Weatherly's lack of familiarity with the street of the town compound the problem of Mr. Eubanks quitting to the end that the SPO could reasonably call the situation an emergency and therefore effectively cast aside the contractual commitment of the employer that supervisors would not undertake bargaining unit work except in emergencies? I believe and so find the question last posed must be answered in the negative for several reasons, not the least of which is occasioned by the fact that at the hearing the SPO admitted that he did not know, nor did he ask Miss Weatherly whether she had knowledge of the streets of the town. His assertions concerning her limitations, therefore, are untrue at worst and made from whole cloth at best. Moreover, he used her as an excuse for what he did rather than as a legitimate reason for it. His conduct in that regard is nothing short of despicable and is very unbecoming unbecoming of a supervisor. I'm going to read this whole part again because I love how he gets in this ass. I believe and so find the question last posed must be answered in the negative for several reasons, not the least of which is occasioned by the fact that at the hearing the SPO admitted that he did not know, nor did he ask Miss Weatherly whether she had knowledge of the streets of the town. His assertions concerning her limitations, therefore, are untrue at worst and made from whole cloth at best. Moreover, he has used her as an excuse for what he did rather as a legitimate reason for it. His conduct in that regard is nothing short of despicable and is very much unbecoming a supervisor. It seems to me that even if Miss Weatherly did not know the names of the streets in the town, it would have been a simple matter to draw a map to provide her with whatever she might need in that regard. And it also seems to me that the agreement could have been utilized at least to the point of being paid at penalty overtime rates at less cost to the employer than was it losing the regular services of the supervisor for the time that vacated his regular duties and performed bargaining unit work. Simply put, the SPO's solution for solving what he claimed was an existing emergency situation was penny poor and a pound foolish from an economic standpoint from the employer. Moreover, absent an emergency situation is a clear violation of the specific terms of the national agreement. So this would go hand in hand with when management says, hey, bring all the mail back by 5, and then they go deliver the shit. That would go hand in hand with that. That would go hand in hand with management saying, hey, you can't work over 12 hours. And since you can't work over 12, since it's our discretion, we're going to deliver the mail. He says here, It seems to me that even if Miss Weather did not know the names of the streets in the town, it would have been a simple matter to draw a map to provide her with whatever she might need in that regard. And it also seems to me that the grievance could have been utilized at least to the point of being paid at penalty overtime. So he's telling you, you're going to pay them penalty before you do their work. Okay? Penalty overtime rates as less cost to the employer than was it losing the regular services of the supervisor for the time that vacated his regular duties and performed bargaining unit work. Simply put, the supervisor's solution for solving what he claimed was an existing emergency situation was penny poor and a pound foolish. That's a perfect decision for us, okay? All right. Hey, I'm sorry if this one is all blundered up because I am a sick motherfucker that's heavily medicated and I can't fucking hear. And I'm blind as shit. So I apologize if this didn't come out quite like I'd hoped. I'll listen to this again later and be like, damn, you shouldn't have just done one. But anyway, I have you some episodes tomorrow, probably Thursday, maybe Friday. All right, Lions Den, the NBAs, and then Paul Bolanger wants to come on and get in somebody's ass for being a fool at a state convention. And I can't wait for it. All right? All right, I got to get ready to get out of town. Going to South Carolina. Hey, I love you. I love you like blue. We're going to fight this thing all the way to the end, all right? We're going to stay in this fight. We will not cower down and bend over to management because our agent is failing us. We will stay in this fight, all right? Every week, we're going to educate. You got a lot of podcasts out there doing it, and I'm grateful for all of them. Almost 30. And I'm grateful for every single one. Keep doing it. Keep fighting. All right? Keep educating your people. Nothing more important. I love you very much. I love you. And we're going to win this thing, I promise. And I'll talk to y'all probably tomorrow, okay? I'll put up another episode for you, all right? Y'all take care. Have a great week. Be safe out there. It's hot. All right? Be safe. I love you. Bye.